Tim Rosenthal, Bruins Daily. Obviously, you've praised the power play all throughout the season, but now that we're in crunch time and being a crucial factor in the series, how nice is that to have in your arsenal while also getting consistent play for your penalty kill as well?
Well, obviously the power play has helped us a lot through this series, and it certainly makes it a lot easier. I mean, we've won before without having a successful power play, but when you've got that arsenal, it certainly makes it a lot easier. Our penalty kill's been great since the beginning of the playoffs, and we need to continue to be strong in both those areas moving forward.
Kevin Dupont from the Globe. Claude, can you talk about what your game planning was going into this to take away their speed, and in the end, how do you think you did that most effectively?
Well, I think our team is a pretty good skating team. I know we've said that all along, and for us, it was about not being intimidated by what was said or by their so-called speed, and we knew we could skate with them. But the biggest thing was that we had to close on those guys quickly, and in all areas. So when we got pucks in deep, first game we were doing a lot of rims, and they were coming out too easily. So we got to the chipping, soft chips, and laid in corners there where we were able to get there quickly, and because of that we were able to create some turnovers. But we also had our third man high on a lot of occasions because of their stretch pass, and once they got that stretch pass, the stretch pass itself wasn't an issue. It was always about the second wave coming. So by having another D and another forward high, we kind of took away, for the most part, that speed that they wanted through the neutral zone. So those kind of things worked well for us, and for most of the time. And I thought defensively, we just played our game defensively. I mean, our guys were committed to getting into shooting lanes. We did a great job of clearing pucks in front of our net, but at the same time, our goaltender was great from start to finish.
Claude, Mike Curley, CBS Boston, over here.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It obviously affects both teams when the penalties start really piling up there. That's where the end of the second into the third. But as far as your penalty killing goes, is that really as high a degree of difficulty as you could really have them go through to see them go through when they have to kill sort of penalty after penalty like that?
Yeah, you certainly don't like to see that. First of all, like I said, it wears out the same guys, and those are things that you try and stay away from in the playoffs. Penalties, and I thought it was one of those games tonight where there was a lot of penalties called. Obviously, I think 7 and 6, 13 calls tonight. So it was very uncharacteristic if you compare it to the other games.
Karen Sweetai, PositiveRooms.com. Dee was saying it looked like it was a much tougher series than maybe the results showed throughout it when you guys end up with a 4-1 series victory. And this, just talk about what Detroit, how tough they were able to play against, and just how much you do respect them as an organization.
Well, you do, because number one, I thought we played really well in the series, and we had to play really well to beat this team. So our team, I don't think we had a real soft game. That first game was kind of back and forth and could have gone either way. But no matter what the score was in all the games, we really had to earn our wins, and we felt that way. And probably obviously our toughest was the one that we had to come back from in the second game in Detroit, or game 4 for that matter. But they're a good team, and with Zetterberg back and Datsuk, and then they had Alfredson, and so all of a sudden they started getting some bodies back, guys that have chemistry together. You saw it on their power play how dangerous they became, with those guys back in their lineup. So I think it was important for us to end this and not prolong it. But not only do they have some good veteran players on their team, but they also have some good young players who no doubt grew just like our young players have in the past. Through a playoff experience like that, it's something you can't buy. So there's a lot of teams right now that would love to give their young players that opportunity, and Detroit had that. And I'm sure they're going to be a better group and better players down the road because they had that opportunity to play. And we play a heavy game, so it's that'll be good. It's probably good on their end there to see how playoffs are played. So there's no doubt there's a lot of positive that Detroit can take out of this series.
Emily Benjamin, Boston Globe. Lucic said that he stopped overthinking starting in that third period, the last game. What did you see from him from that point on?
Well, I think just what you said, he just started playing. Sometimes, you know, you're worried about making mistakes, you're trying to do the right things all the time, and when you overthink, you know, you're hesitating, you're a little slow reacting. So, you know, I've said that often between periods or even behind the bench, let's just play, you know. We all know how to play, we all know what our system is all about, so sometimes, you know, you just gotta go out there and just skate and make things happen, and it helps, you know, or certainly in Milan's case, when he's not overthinking, his skating really picks up.
Claude, Doug Tribou, WBUR. Before the series, you talked a lot about trying to not let it extend on like the Toronto series in the opening round last year. Can you just talk about what, if things felt different and how you got the team sort of to pick things up pretty much starting in the third period of the first game? And what do you do, you know, ahead of the next series to prevent that?
To prevent what?
To prevent a drag out, you know, to keep people, to get that fast start.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, the thing is, and that's your job, you guys have to create stories, and, you know, I think a lot of it was to recreate last year's, you know, meltdown, whatever you want to call it, from a 3-1 lead against Toronto. But, you know, as I said before the game, we don't live in the past, we don't live in the future, you know, we live in the present. And, you know, we had a 3-0 lead, and we blew it against Philadelphia. So the last time we had a 3-0 lead, that has to be brought up, but that's fine. I mean, that's what you guys are paid to do. But from our end, we don't look at it the same way. We just go at it one year at a time, one game at a time, one series at a time. And there was none of that stuff crept in our heads today. We just knew that, you know, if anything, you learn from those experiences, and you don't want it to be repeated, so you just go out there and you just play. But, you know, same with the streak that we had this year. Everybody talked about it. We never talked about it in the room. So we never talked about the last year's series against Toronto. All we were focused on was doing the job today and preventing us from taking another trip to Detroit.